This is the new KTM 390 Enduro R. No, not this, that. Now, jokes apart, let's get one thing straight. Despite what the name suggests, this isn't a blown out competition spec enduro motorcycle. In fact, even KTM lists it under the dual sport category. But that doesn't really matter, does it? I mean, India hasn't really reached that stage where it can differentiate between motorcycles in this segment. I mean, be it a dirt bike, be it an enduro, or be it an adventure. We haven't really reached that stage where we can differentiate between these classes of motorcycles. We're still in a very developing stage right now. Now, the 390 Enduro R. It's a motorcycle that shares its foundation with the 390 ADV and the 390 Duke, but it's been stripped down, it's slim, and it gets a more off-road focus. Now, at 3.37 lakhs ex-showroom, this aims to be a fun machine that can take you anywhere but doesn't burn a hole in your pocket. So today at RevWheels, we're going to take a closer look at the new 390 Enduro R and tell you what we really liked about the motorcycle and what could have been better. Now let's talk about what really surprised me, the handling and the suspension. Now this bike gets a reduced suspension travel as compared to the international spec model, and that did disappoint a lot of people when the bike was launched. But out here in the real world, it just completely tells a different story.
The revised damping and additional spring preload makes a huge difference. It doesn't bottom out as easily as the 390 Adventure and feels more composed when riding over rocks, through water crossings, or even during medium jumps. For a trail-focused weekend warrior, this setup hits a sweet spot.
Now let's talk about the rider ergonomics. First up, the elephant in the room, that is the saddle height. At 860 mm, it is quite tall. This is a dirt bike and it's supposed to be tall. So if you're about 5'8", 5'9", you'll be just about tiptoeing. I'm almost 5'9", and I'm wearing off-road boots, and that's the reason I can almost flat-foot it. But with regular shoes, I'd be tiptoeing too. Anyway, shorter than 5'8" or 5'9", I think you'll have a difficult time because you'll have to do this or this at traffic signals, and that's not really comfortable. Alright, let's take a look at the handlebar now. You get a nice wide handlebar, good leverage. When off-roading, it's adjustable as well. Now, the foot peg position, it's not too much in the front or at the back. This is how it's supposed to be for most off-road motorcycles. You get nice toothy foot peg that can grip your shoes well. Nice upright stance, as you can see. This is what an off-road motorcycle riding position should be, and I think I have no complaints. Even the seat, it's nice, firm and flat, and you can move around quite a bit. Yep, I think I have no complaints with the riding position. It's just fantastic. Now talking about the electronics package, KTM has absolutely nailed it here.
The off-road mode is playful without being scary. It deactivates the rear ABS, and there's a dedicated button to disable front ABS too, which is a great feature for trail junkies. Traction control is also really well judged. It allows plenty of sideways action without interfering too soon. And honestly, I preferred having it on because this engine can spin up the rear pretty quick on loose surfaces.
Now let's take a look at the features.
For something based on a road bike, the 390 Enduro R brings a lot of creature comforts to the table. You get a bright 4.2-inch TFT screen, Bluetooth connectivity with navigation assist, 2 riding modes with traction control and ABS, and intuitive switchgear. That's way more tech that you'd normally find on a dual sport motorcycle at this price point. Just don't go looking for a fuel gauge because you'll only find a low fuel warning light. The 390 Enduro R is not your average street bike. It looks tall, lean, and ready to tear through the rough terrain. KTM's signature sharp styling meets hardcore off-road function. You get a proper enduro frame, long travel suspension, high ground clearance, Basically, everything you need to get dirty. The build quality is rugged and true to KTM's off-road DNA. Even the switchgear has a very solid tactile feel. And what absolutely stands out is the lovely scaled-down 4.2-inch instrument console. It's got full-color TFT, sharp graphics, and all the information you need, and no other distractions.
Now let's talk about where KTM dropped the ball, the R badge.
The bike doesn't have the full-blown Enduro chassis, engine, or suspension travel of bikes like the 350 EXCF. Even compared to the international spec Enduro R, we get 30 mm less travel, which seems like a sour deal. And while that's understandable given the price point, the name sets the expectations a little too high.
Now let's talk about the engine. The 46 bhp 39 Nm engine is in the exact same state of tune as the 390 Adventure. However, you do get two extra teeth on the rear sprocket to accommodate the larger wheel. The gear ratios, however, are exactly the same as you get in the 390 ADV.
The limitation here is the peaky nature of the engine. The 399cc single is quick and lively, but it doesn't have the low-end poke of a true dirt bike. I stalled it a few times while easing out the clutch at low revs, and you do need to give it a few extra revs when crawling through technical sections. Since this is a more dirt-oriented motorcycle than the Adventure, lower gearing would have made it even more fun.
So here's the verdict. Now the KTM 390 Enduro R, it isn't the top spec explosive Enduro that it appears to be. But then that's not really the point. It's a fun, approachable, feature-rich trail motorcycle that gives you a sense of adventure without breaking the bank. Sure, KTM has watered it down for Indian conditions, but then it shines where it needs to, which is here out in the real world conditions. And frankly, I enjoyed riding it a lot more than I expected after I read the spec sheets. Now, this is the kind of motorcycle that wants you to leave work early and go explore new places with your friends. Explore that trail that you always wanted to, that off-road path that you always wanted to go down. And frankly, that's high praise. What do you think of the video? Did you like the new KTM 390 Enduro R? Do let us know in the comments and do subscribe to the RevWheels channel. I'll see you on the next one.